Well, shit, I wish I was recording then. Now we're hot.
All right, there's nothing in the sandbox.
Nothing in the sandbox. Well, we've got plenty of sandbox content
Perfect.
here, it looks like. But I have other things
Same.
I want to touch on first. So, well, let's roll and
Let's do it. Play some music.
Weather and introductions and
Let me see those notes.
nope. He said you're not allowed to.
Oh, really?
Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to Shiftless.
I feel like I'm going to get blindsided.
The podcast that all we ever talk about is bicycles and bicycles only. And
Before we get into bicycles,
all right.
I do have something. I watched this video this morning while I was waking up, and it was, I guess it's pre-Olympic trials or something. It was a ice skating match, and this Chinese, they have teams of two on these ice skating deals where they go around the little cones.
Yeah.
And at the very beginning, this one Chinese person just went off the front and lapped the whole field, and then just sat on the back like nothing was going on, and the field just completely lost sight of what was going on. And so there towards the end, they started to do their normal scramble, and all that person did was just hang on the back and act like nothing was going on. And they all scrambled to finish first, even though they were finishing second, and it was so cool. It was like, it's kind of like when watching the tour. If the breakaway gets away in the olden days before the radio, the pack could forget about them,
Yep.
But it was so weird to see it on a closed track like that. I've never seen that tactic employed before.
I remember seeing that at the last Olympics or the Olympic trials or whatever it was.
Oh, maybe it was a replay. Because it's the first time I've seen it.
I've seen it before.
I just thought it was an interesting race tactic.
Yeah, very, very interesting. You did touch on something. We'll go back to bicycles momentarily. Then we'll go back to our regular show. But I'm one of those that is a proponent for no radios.
Yes, same. There's attributes to both. I think that racing was more pure. I think, was it stage 7? No, stage 7 was the time trial, wasn't it? It was stage 8 where Abrahamson went off the front and stayed off the front for like 200 kilometers or something, and they just reeled him back 10 miles to go like clockwork. He had like a 6.5 minute gap, and you're like, is this guy just going to stay off the front? And then you're like, no, they all have radios. They all have radios. They're all doing calculations.
They know exactly what pace to do to bring it in together. So now back to ice skating where we belong. Coincidentally, and I was going to bring this up regardless today.
Irregardless.
I watched Blades of Glory last night for the first time.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's Will Ferrell and John Heder.
Yeah.
Actually, a better flick than I remembered. I
don't think I've ever seen it. I haven't seen that one or the ping pong one, Balls of Fury. Is that what it's called?
I think I've seen that one.
I think they're in the same spirit.
I think they're kind of in the same spirit, and maybe Blades of Glory. I kind of thought it was like a dodgeball ripoff or something, because dodgeballs. You've seen dodgeball, right?
Oh yeah, numerous times.
That one that's a good one. But anyway, so Blades of Glory was pretty good. But hey, we've got to introduce some. I was getting there.
I know. I was just helping you. I was just helping you. Hey, nobody knows what I'm doing on the freaking audio.
Brad's giving me cues. Looks like he's one step away from just slapping me and get on with it already.
Not true.
We do have a guest, but I do want to say we do not have
Caleb.
DJ Caleb. And he's not in a better place.
No, he's not. He's being hassled by the man.
The man has him under his thumb at the moment. We're going to see if we can work around that.
We will.
Because this would have been a really good show for him to be here with us.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're going to take all the stabs at him without him being here to defend himself.
He can't defend himself, and you know what? Maybe that's what this is all about. Maybe he was afraid he was going to have to shave this gentleman's legs today, and maybe he's making this up.
I do have shaving cream and a razor because I thought he was going to show up.
Okay, if you guys listen to what I remember you guys talking about that bet. And
wait. First, let's introduce Mr. Justin Cary.
The one, the only, the...
Faster on Flats.
Faster on Flats, the unique Mr. Justin Cary,
Yes.
joining us today. And I bet we're going to talk about all sorts of things, but we're going to be probably Unbound XL centric.
Yes.
I'm so sorry, Brad interrupted you there. What were you saying?
I heard you guys talking about that bet, and I think you guys have it backwards, though. It was the loser has to shave their own legs.
Oh, is that what it was?
I'm pretty sure that's
I
what
thought
it
it
was.
was the loser had to shave the winner's legs.
I guarantee you, if that's not what if I said it that way, that was not the intent of what I said.
Okay.
But because it wouldn't make sense. How's
Because we don't want to shave our legs.
No,
My
no,
memory.
no. Justin, maybe you don't, but I look forward to shaving my.
Maybe the winner had to shave the loser's legs?
No. Well, that could be a win.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Depending on where you're.
I don't think it was anybody shaving their own
All right.
legs. I think that was part of what made it so awkward.
I guarantee you. So,
Yeah.
was it the last episode with you that we discussed this? Because
Yeah.
I
He's
just
only been on the
remember-
one time.
I just remember mowing the lawn,
but-
and I
but-
heard you guys talking about it.
But that's where we threw
Yeah.
that one out.
Oh, absolutely.
Was the Justin
Absolutely.
interview, the initial Justin interview? Okay,
Yeah.
and yes, we have a bunch of Unbound notes to talk about, and we'll
Awesome.
go into this momentarily.
Don't be looking at those.
Oh, I'm allowed to. You're not allowed to.
What the hell?
And well, because Justin's mostly concerned about your grammar Nazism. And so he's like, don't let Brad see these because he's going to critique my spelling. And
That's
yes,
a fair point.
yeah. Look at the first
Why are
line.
you pointing out? Why are you pointing it out?
Use
You don't have to point it out. It glares at me. I have, when I look at something and I see a spelling error, it is like highlight.
You were right. Yeah, see, he was right.
You don't need a highlighter. It's automatically highlighted. I don't know what it is. I did very poorly in English. I don't know why I have this affinity.
Okay, now we're really going into shiftless territory because it's something I've been. Don't take this the wrong way. You don't strike me as the type of person that would traditionally be the spelling and grammar Nazi.
I'm not, but somewhere along the way, I started to realize that people perceive you by the way you project yourself. And if you write poorly, you speak poorly, then people think that way of you. I just made it a point.
No, I don't think poorly of you, Justin.
No,
obviously he does.
No, I'm talking about without other information.
I get
so
it. I get
if it's a snapshot thing, like on a resume, if you make a spelling error, people go, probably not our candidate.
Or if you salt your food before tasting it, or if you wear bad shoes or whatever.
Yeah, there's many little things that
I disagree with all those. But that's me.
I'm just trying to be a better person.
I'm anti-establishment. I am a better person.
It's funny the establishment is flipped. That's a whole nother conversation.
Now, okay, we're definitely. I think this will be somewhat of a transition towards Justin talk. I know we're ignoring you right now, Justin, but get used to it. Okay,
It's
not about you. I do want to tell you, first of all, congratulations.
Excellent job.
It was a pleasure watching your dot, watching your progress, watching how fluid it seemed that you were. And it was even more of a pleasure watching your video, which I found humorous at various points. I meant to watch it again before we had this podcast, so it was fresh on brain.
I did too, but
Yeah.
I just ran out of time. We'll definitely talk about that. But before we go there, and there's quite possibly both y'all can fill in my stupidity here. This is new to me. I was just, while I was waiting on Brad to get his shit together this morning, scrolling through the Instagram, and there was a post from Dylan. Crusher and the Tusher might be canceled, but
It
still
did get canceled.
What's going on?
There's a wildfire.
Oh.
Yeah, so it shut the whole event down. It seems interesting that someone else didn't captivate that audience, but I guess it's too late in the game to shift a Lifetime Grand Prix function.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I just figure somebody could have put on another course for all those guys that are looking for a race right now. That was my initial thought, because I also saw Payson McLevin make the same. McKelvin, yeah. The guy with the sexy mustache. I saw him make a post very similar, but I did see Dylan's post where he said, now I'm all in for, what's the next race? I forgot now already.
Next one's Leadville, isn't it?
Leadville, yeah. So I mean, I assumed he was already all in, but it's going to be interesting because it's going to change up the points race a little bit because they're not going to have as many. I guess they'll still have 2 drops.
Good point. Or
Yeah.
maybe it makes Crusher an automatic drop for everyone.
Maybe. I
That-
don't know.
That would be the way I would approach it.
Yeah.
Justin, how would you want them to approach it if you were in the Grand Prix and something like this came up? Do you have any idea what we're talking
No,
about?
I do. I follow it a little bit, but I don't really have an opinion on it.
Okay.
Honestly.
Fair enough.
One day you will.
Well, we can teach you how to have opinions about everything, whether you really should or not. Trust me.
I don't know. So I'm not a big. This is interesting. I'm not a big like watching sports fan. I'm always like rather play the sport.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
I'll
Sure.
be at Leadville, so
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather be there than like
Yeah.
follow it as much.
So you're going to be there to race?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
And
excited.
how did you qualify for Leadville?
I got really lucky at Little Sugar. I won the lottery there.
Okay.
Very
I've been
cool.
getting. I don't understand how I've been getting so lucky with Leadville. I've gotten in like 3 or 4 times. I just keep winning the lottery.
And what's your best so far? I think we discussed this last
yeah,
podcast, so
So
forgive me.
I had to wait it's okay. I had to wait like 3 years ago because of injuries and
Mm-hmm.
COVID and all that stuff. So I've only went once, and I got 11 hours and 58 minutes.
Okay.
So I got it by 2 minutes, but
Yeah.
I wasn't acclimated. I was only there for a day before I did the bro science of let's show up 24 hours before the race and see if it works, and
Yeah.
it didn't work.
It didn't work, yeah.
So this year I'm going a week before.
Are you heat acclimating too? Because remember we talked about that with Dylan. I think that's a big advantage
It's a
for
great tool.
Texas folks.
It's a great tool.
Yeah, I just did cross timbers last Saturday for 10 hours.
I would say that's heat acclimated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
in
saw
90
that.
degrees. Oh, you did?
I saw that 50 miles.
Yeah, we did. Me and Alexi did 50 miles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty intense.
Yeah, there was like a little challenge or something. We're going to get a T-shirt if we finish the whole thing. But
Finish the whole thing.
yeah, it was like if you do like 32 miles, you get and make sure you don't miss any of the segments.
Uh-huh.
Then Doorbell will send you a T-shirt.
Oh.
I think Jim is the trail steward there.
Jim Cantro or something like that.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure his last
I'm
name.
not sure.
Yeah, I'm
No,
not
I
sure
don't.
either. That's pretty cool. I didn't even know that was a thing. So,
Yeah, me and Alexi, we do it. We just have a tradition. We've been doing it every year for like the
Yeah.
last 4 or 5 years. So
Yeah.
we saw the challenge. And we're like, well, we're already gonna
we
do
were
it.
going to do it anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that east part is my favorite part. That's
Mm-hmm.
the part where you're just like, man, I don't even feel like we're in Texas. Especially when you come around that bend and there's just all of this just roller stuff and then the lake's off to your left.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so gnarly. And you're like, you could drop somebody here and they wouldn't believe they were in Texas. You
Yeah.
know? Good stuff. Trail's in good shape, I assume.
Yeah, they take care of that trail really well.
Yeah.
It's shocking. 'cause
There was
it's
a
so
time
remote.
6 years ago or so where that trail was a coin toss whether it was going to be completely overgrown, unmarked, or
Mm-hmm.
just rutted out. And now it's my understanding they've been taking really good good care of it. But they hadn't had a trail steward until like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, from what I know.
Oh, okay.
So
But just a warning, if anybody wants to do it, you got to go with somebody who knows it because if you go in the heat, it can be really dangerous.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can.
there's no resupply of any kind, right? You
Yes.
have to take everything for the full ride.
There is a store,
Yeah.
but the store is hit or miss too.
Where's the store?
It's on the west side. It's about 10 or 12 miles out.
But if you don't go with somebody who knows where that is, you could kind of
Yeah.
get lost out there.
That's true as well.
What we do is we drive out there, we do a water drop
Yeah.
kind of by that store, but it's in
Yeah.
the back area where you can access it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah, because there is nothing out there unless you want to filter water. So,
I'm going to need some notes on that water drop because I do want to try cross timbers again. That's on my definite to-do list. That's on my that's on my targets.
we were talking about this weekend. PK, Cross Timbers are two of our major gyms that are.
Man, I have not been to PK since way back in the day when they first opened that.
PK's a tremendous trail.
What is it?
It's not as technical as Cross Timbers, and I don't think there's quite as much climbing, but it's a hellacious trail. But once again, you need to go with someone that knows the trail.
So what
'cause it's
what is
spider
so
web out.
what is the is what is the official Possum Kingdom network now? So it initially started out, the guy that was the maintenance guy for the Moritz family started building some of his own trail, and then the River Authority or somebody came in and did that Redbird Trail, I think it was.
I don't know. It's in the state park. It starts with
Oh,
the
it's
state
in the
park.
state park.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a totally different trail than what I'm thinking. Oh, so there's a decent trail from the state park now?
There's a killer trail.
That's new from
I don't think so.
my experience.
Maybe it's not in the state park. Am I lying? I make no.
Have you ever ridden Possum Kingdom?
I haven't. I've heard good things though.
Well, we're gonna have to do a shiftless Possum Kingdom exploration weekend.
Oh, I'm in.
We're there. We're there. All right. We need to talk to our guests, Brad.
Okay, I'm more than interested. I didn't get finished complimenting you though. Don't take this the wrong way, but you look more fit and more on form today than you did last time we saw you too. I gather you're riding more. Obviously, Unbound XL was a big notch in the belt. But do you feel stronger? Do you feel like you're more on form? You feel like you're a lion ready to pounce?
No, I've been struggling a lot because like kids being home for the summer.
Fucking kids.
I know. It messes up my riding.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just squeeze in rides whenever I can.
Yeah.
Like 30 minutes right before I came to this podcast,
Yeah.
you know. 30 minutes last night at like 9:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Do what you can.
Yeah,
when you can.
I actually watched your video and when you were on the trainer, and you're like, just ride every day. And we all know that, but sometimes we have to be reminded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took Kevin reminding me, and then I was like, why am I not doing that? You know? And so I've been doing it. I told him before we started, I've ridden 14 out of the last 15 days. So
That's great.
not bad for me.
I've got my bike on the truck, and I'm going to catch a ride on the way home because and I'm going to combine it with
Why don't you ride with me after we wrap this up?
possibly. I don't know if I'm comfortable riding from here, but we'll talk about that later. You can follow me to somewhere, but
Why? Well,
we'll talk about it.
we can blow up the heat map even more.
Possibly. All right. So first off, well, actually, an extension of that. I agree with Bradford. You do look like maybe you have dropped a few pounds since we last saw you. Is that the case? Is that not the case?
It's not.
Okay.
If anything, I've gained weight. But, I mean,
Is it maybe muscle mass you've gained?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, I do CrossFit, and
That's
some
I
other
bet it's
weightlifting
muscle
class.
mass.
Yeah.
I bet it's muscle mass.
You definitely look more on form.
You look leaner.
Yeah.
You do look leaner. Not anorexic or anything like that. Like me, I'm svelte. I'm arrow.
Golf balls are arrow too, and they're also dimpled.
You want to see my dimples? All right. So Unbound XL. We'll start with the big reveal. So how did it end up for you?
I got 41st place. I finished, and I felt really good. I was happy overall with how it went.
What was your time?
I might be off by it was around 27 hours.
Yeah.
Ish.
And what was your goal?
So
30,
this-
30
so-
and under or 36 and under?
I didn't actually. So my only goal I had ever said was top 25%, and I actually said it on the podcast with you guys.
Yeah.
And then I think I did top 26%. So actually, I consider that hitting my goal. That was
Yeah.
pretty close.
That's pretty darn close.
Yeah.
When you say top 26% of people that actually started rolling or who signed up?
I think it was started rolling because I think it was around 180 some people that went, and then 41st. I don't know. Someone told me the math. I actually didn't do the math.
Hey, you finished. That's like huge accomplishment. I mean, biggest ride to date.
Yeah, it was actually. Before that was 200 miles twice.
Yeah.
The Denton 200.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely the most technically challenging, and I mean, it didn't look super rugged from your video, but I also understand that the video that was taken during rough periods was probably not the best video to show either.
You made top 25%. That If 160 rolled out, you made top 25%.
Okay.
And if 180, if any 145 or better was top 20, you made your goal.
I made my goal.
Yeah.
I consider making my goal.
That's pretty
even
damn
if it was
strong.
tough.
Math
That's
and science.
Math and science.
So it was technical, but I wasn't able to hit the record button.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was like, it would start being technical, and I was like, I want to record it, but I can't. I can't get my hands off of it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. You don't have a GoPro where you just say GoPro record?
I do, probably. It's the 12, but I haven't practiced it.
Yeah, it has a voice.
It has voice activation of some sort.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's okay.
Oh,
you teach us stuff, we'll teach you stuff.
Where did mine? Oh, I need to get.
I need help editing.
Oh.
My editing skills are. I'm working on that.
Editing sucks.
Yeah.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I'm just gonna get a little bit footage for a future video of mine somewhere. So just ignore this. It's just B-roll.
Okay.
So, all right. Now I want to go back. So your goal for for XL was top 25%. You're rolling into Leadville. What's your goal for? Do you have a? I'm assuming you have a time cutoff goal for Leadville.
Yeah. So
going for that big buckle, aren't you?
I don't
Come on, Justin. Say you're going for the big buckle. Just say it.
But if okay, I'm gonna get sub-9 hours.
There you go. That's the big buckle.
Yeah.
Oof.
So your pace needs to be about 11 miles an hour.
And I need to drop 20 pounds in.
Whoa.
That doesn't sound like a healthy plan.
No. Pick one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Far be it from me to tell the unconventional Justin Cary anything, because you do everything your own way, and obviously you're having success with it. So, but man, because that's a month, not even a month and a half away, right?
Yeah, I think it's less than a month away, actually.
Yeah, that's not healthy.
Right?
That's not healthy. You can't drop 20
I was
pounds.
just joking.
Okay.
I'm actually going to shoot for like maybe 5 or 6.
You look beautiful just the way you are.
I would take weight loss out of the equation.
Yeah.
For consideration with a month to go, to be honest with you.
I know.
Don't, you're going to hinder yourself more than you're going to help yourself at this point.
Yeah.
Make sure your nutrition is dialed in.
So speaking of nutrition and preparation, I want to start the XL conversation by what did your week look like leading into Leadville? Like, when was your last ride before you left? When did you leave? How early were you there? What was your pre-spin like? Food, nutrition, what did you eat on the bike? Those are my main hitting points. And then I have other fill-in questions as well.
You mean Unbound, right?
Mm-hmm. What did I say?
Leadville.
Oh, my bad.
No,
my
you're
bad.
good. Okay.
I was foreshadowing into, because I want to know the same things about Leadville.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think that's good.
I usually take a few days off before a big race, and I remember before Unbound, I was putting a lot of miles in. I think I had 1,200 miles that month.
Yeah.
The week before Unbound.
Oh, that's right.
What did you do that Saturday before Unbound?
I was smashing my head against the wall going, what is this kid doing?
I actually forgot about that. Okay, so there was
share with the audience.
I'm so glad I didn't have your phone number.
There was a spinistry race, and it was the Texas Twister, and I was wanting to get a lot of riding in, and I decided to ride to the race because it wasn't too far away. This has been a little bit, I think it was 50 or 60 miles away, and then the race was 70, I think. No, actually, yeah, because I had 130, I think, at the end. And I did not...
The week before Unbound.
I did really bad in that race, though.
Which was probably a blessing.
I was going to ride home, too, and then one of my friends was like, I'll give you a ride. And I was like,
Okay.
ooh.
Oh, so you didn't ride home.
No, I was going
that's
to.
Good.
You know, the tornadoes happened that night, too, so it was good that I didn't ride. Because my wife was actually, there's storms coming, and I was like, ooh, okay. And my friend was offering a ride, so, yeah.
That was
Thanks,
a good
Jeremy.
call. That was a good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, Caleb had told me, I guess you and Caleb had chatted, and Caleb was like, yeah, Justin's going to ride to this event and ride the event. I go, what the
I was trying to get him to come with me, actually.
And he was like, that kid's stupid.
It was plenty of time, actually. I was completely recovered before. Unbound.
Well, obviously, you kicked Unbound's ass.
So was that your last ride before you packed up and left to Leadville? I mean, to Unbound? I'm sorry.
No, actually, I remember I had one more ride. It was just a regular. So here's something new. I got a road bike. and I got into road riding. So I did a road ride with 380 Collective by my house. So we do like 40 miles at like 20, 21 miles an hour ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that was my last ride.
Okay.
Until 2 or 3 days.
And so what is the road bike?
It's a Madone, a truck Madone.
I knew it was going to be trash.
Sounds cheap.
Actually, I got a really good discount on it. Yeah. No, I got approval for that one. With like my wife, she's super supportive, and I was like, I need a road bike, and she's like, okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So, Trek Madone, super sexy bike. Does it have electronic shifting and whatnot?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Unfortunately, it's Shimano.
Yeah, well, you know. Shimano has a place too.
Yeah. It was actually really on sale. It was like 60% off.
Oh.
And I wanted trim electric
Yeah.
shifting, but I couldn't pay the extra.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, you don't have another drop bar bike that has SRAM on it, do you?
All my bikes have trim on it.
Do you have a drop bar bike?
Yeah,
that
yeah.
has-
My gravel bike does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that takes a little learning because they shift different.
They do, but I actually have an idea to change it because
Of course you do.
They let you change it in the app,
Mm-hmm.
and I could use the top weird buttons for
Yeah.
shifting the front derailleur,
Yeah.
and then I can use the left and right for the,
Oh, okay.
the back.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't ever use the front.
Yeah. Because
derailleur.
that's the biggest problem transitioning between SRAM and Shimano is because they shift different, especially on the drifters. The electronic shifters on flat bars are pretty much identical, so there's not really a transition, especially as far as your brain goes. But the last thing you want is be on your road bike and be in a weak moment and accidentally upshift when you meant to downshift, and all of a sudden you're like, ugh, and then you're off the back, and you know.
Yeah,
So-
it happened to me a lot until I got used to it.
Yeah.
But I don't race road, and
No.
I don't think I will. So it's
No,
not
but sometimes
bad.
the difference between hanging on and getting dropped is a
Yeah.
proper shift.
yeah.
So
You had more questions about the week leading up?
yeah, so
Oh, the week-
so you
yeah.
drove up. You went. You didn't ride solo. Your wife went with you, right?
No, I went solo.
Oh, you did go solo.
Yeah, I convert my SUV into like a camper with
Uh-huh.
a piece of wood, flat,
Yeah.
some nice mats and
Yeah.
stuff. So I went to the fairgrounds and then just pulled up there, just hung out,
Yeah.
went to sleep. Yeah.
So you drove up on Thursday.
Was the
Excuse
race?
me, or
the race
Wednesday?
was I think the race was
Friday.
on Friday, right?
Friday
so then
started.
I drove up Thursday then.
Yeah.
Got there Thursday night.
So what's the fairground situation? That one's new to me. How does that work?
Yeah, they charge a lot of money just to park there.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah, but it was fine.
Everything's a premium that weekend.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure it is.
Yeah.
Well, what's a lot of money just to park your car and camp?
I mean, like $160.
Good grief! Yeah, that's a lot of money
Per day?
I think it was total.
Oh, okay.
through the weekend.
Yeah.
That's not horrible.
It's
I mean,
not
you're
horrible.
not even going to
No,
get a
'cause-
hotel room for that.
Right.
Right.
know,
Right.
per night.
So yeah, that's $40 a night.
Yeah.
For camping.
Yeah.
Not awful.
I did Google it though. They're really good about letting you park on the street if you are price conscious. And just that weekend, they had like a sectioned off area that they didn't want you to park in, but basically besides that, the town let you park
Yeah.
in front of houses, and they
Town's really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
The people were super nice there, but you know what was actually really weird? The drivers were not like Texas drivers. They
Whoa.
would pass you like right next to you. In Texas, most of the drivers are really cool except trucks.
Yeah.
And they get over.
Yeah.
But it's completely different there. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, it's a not a huge cycling area. It has a huge cycling event, but for the most part, it's my understanding that it's not a normal everyday thing to encounter cyclists. Whereas around here, there's cyclists on the road all the time, and I think people are even begrudgingly becoming more
They're-
cycling aware.
They're cognizant of
Yeah.
the cyclists, for lack of a better term.
And you can tell a cyclist too when they pass you, they're going to give you the full lane, you know, versus someone that just kind of cares about a cyclist is going to give you your 3 feet, and then someone that doesn't give a shit is just going to
Yeah.
come right by you.
I feel
So,
bad for people around where I live on Saturday mornings. We have about 1,000 road
Yeah.
road bikes out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big area for road cycling out there, McKinney Way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So obviously your sleep setup was a little bit different going into the event, but I assume the SUV camping setup worked. Hey, a little breeze, that feels good. That worked well for you?
Yeah, it did. I've practiced it a bunch, and then so I woke up. The day before Unbound just Unbound and Unbound XL in general, it just feels like a waiting game. You get there, and you're just waiting.
Yeah.
You wake up the next morning, you're like, okay, we're just waiting for the race to start.
Did you try to sleep as long as possible, or
I got like 5 hours of sleep. I was too excited.
Yeah. Yeah, that can be problematic.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people get the pre-race jitters and can't sleep the night before. But if you just start chalking it up as, I'm just here to ride my bike, it's a lot easier to sleep, you know.
So what'd you do for meals and so forth when you were in Emporia?
Okay, so that's a good question. So what I've learned before races for me is the only thing I can really do is screw up my stomach. So I try to avoid certain foods. I say like no Mexican food 24 hours before a race till the day before, none. And then the day of the race, I don't eat a lot. So all I ate was 2 white bagels, and all day until I think the race started at 3. And I remember like right before the race, I was like, I'm kind of hungry, so I went and grabbed some like Nutri-Grain bars from like the what was that all the Expo, thank you. Yeah, they were giving out some food there, but I didn't eat much because I had so much food with me that I wanted to fuel.
Sure.
I didn't want to go in with like a heavy stomach or mess it up. I feel like
you had plenty of calories for that day and the next.
Yeah.
What about the night before? Thursday night, camp night.
Yeah, I don't really remember. I don't think I ate very much though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you carry for fuel?
Okay, so I brought Maltodextrin, my same mix. It's Gatorade Endurance for flavor, Maltodextrin, and
Maltodextrin for those that are keeping score at home.
He's even a spelling Nazi verbally.
Well, people are going to be like, "What is Maltodextrin?" I just want to make sure we're clear.
And then fructose, and then I put extra salt and sodium citrate.
Yeah.
And then I put them in bags, like 2-hour bags, 200 carb bags.
Yeah.
And actually,
so those are your metrics. It's 200 calories per bag.
Yes.
Okay.
And then what I did was I have like 18-ounce bottles, and I made a super concentrated mix in a blender, so that it was so thick it was almost like
a gel.
It was almost like a gel. But I had 3 of those, and it was like 12 hours. It was for the first 12 hours I didn't have to mess with anything, and I think I actually extended it. I was supposed to be 12 hours, but I wasn't eating perfectly, so it probably pushed more to like maybe 15 or so.
Yeah.
And then after that, I would just take the bag, the 2-hour bag, throw it in the bottle, mix it a little, throw it in the bike, and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been dabbling with doing my own stuff in my bottles as well, but I want to get some notes from you because I'm curious. I've been running on Tailwind for so long, and then when I started to heat acclimate, I noticed that I can't take in the same amount of calories versus how much water I need to take in. So I've been doing baking soda, which is sodium bicarbonate, which is just another sodium, and it's supposed to help with lactic acid threshold or lactic acid buildup, I guess. Sea salt, clementine juice just for flavor and for it's obviously natural citric acid, and then a little bit of agave nectar for sweetness. Mm-hmm. So I want to get some notes from you. But so you said you weren't eating like you should have been, or you were eating more? What'd you say?
Just a little less, not like crazy bad. So
what'd you bring for solid foods?
Oh, nothing. I ate 1 donut, and it was only because I felt bad because I went to I missed the writers' meeting, and
you had all day.
Why did you miss the writers' meeting? You were just talking about being bored and having nothing to do.
You had to get there at like I think between 4 and 6 p.m., and I got there at like 10 p.m.
Oh, on Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But they had a lot in there apparently that they didn't share on the virtual writers' meeting. We had a Zoom call, and we're jumping forward a little bit. There was a bunch of water stops that I missed because in the writers' meeting they told you where they were hiding them.
Yeah. Caleb was a little disappointed about that as well.
Yeah.
He said it was not very clear and concise, and they would kind of trickle it out instead of giving one summation of
they
it.
kept changing the ride with GPS files. So like I think the morning of or it might have been that night, I was still updating it, trying to figure out.
That's got to be frustrating.
It was okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine.
I was just rolling with it.
It's fine now, but it had to be frustrating leading up to the event. And you're like, wait, they're changing the course, And I get that course changes have to happen, especially when, stuff that they can't foresee happens.
Weather is always a factor.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I was planning, because I watched all those Unbound XL videos, and I was planning on like this insane weather, mud, and like the hardest race of my life.
Yeah, and you guys were blessed with amazing weather.
Yeah.
And it looked like all the roads were like pristine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had one bit of mud.
Yeah.
And
like at mile 50 or something like that.
I think it actually might have been a little farther in, maybe 170.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
I may be thinking of the 200 riders then.
I figured out a way, though, that because I actually practiced in the mud on purpose a few times.
Yeah.
And I was
not a bad strategy.
Yeah.
So I would rub my foot on the wheel on the front and back
Mm-hmm.
as I was going, even if it was just going 2 miles an hour and it was knocking off mud, because what I've noticed is you can ride through mud, but only up to a certain point till it cakes up enough. But if you keep that cake down, you can keep riding through mud. So I probably passed maybe 8-10 people going through the mud, and I just flew through it.
Well, but correct me if I'm wrong, just to make sure we're on the same page. That's front wheel only. You're not able to do that on the back wheel, are you?
Yeah, I can do back and front.
Yeah, with your left foot, right?
I don't remember which foot, but I can do both,
Yeah. Well, that makes sense, though. I mean, it's funny because, where you really do have an advantage if you explore all those different elements is there's a lot of people that get out there. I mean, let's be fair. Unbound is there's more road bikers that come to Unbound than there are mountain bikers. And so when they face adverse conditions, a lot of these people crumble, whether it's mentally or physically. And so if you're more adept at those kind of things, you're going to capitalize big time. So good on you. Because last year there was mud and everybody just threw an absolute hissy fit. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why they actually shifted the course this year, because they didn't want to deal with that again. So
I was mentally prepared for anything, honestly.
Sure. Well, and that's the best way to be. I mean, a lot of people go up there and they think they are, but they're just ready to click off miles, and they want them to be uneventful. But you don't make stories with uneventful miles.
That really doesn't generate memories.
No.
No.
It really doesn't.
Before I forget, though, I want to thank you, Kevin, because during the race, I navigated it perfectly. I never took one wrong turn. And I feel like it's because of so many spin and shoot races that I've learned how to navigate, I've learned how to race, I've learned how to get my nutrition right. And I just want to thank you, because I don't feel like I could have done that well or even finished it with all the spin and shoot races.
But there weren't any spin and shoot arrows up there, were there?
I don't even look at spin and shoot arrows anymore. The Red River Riot taught me you need to really, download the map, turn off auto rerouting, and and learn how to navigate it.
Well, thank you, Justin. That means a lot to me, because quite frankly, that's a big chunk of why we do things the way we do. We're wanting people to be able to pull off their bucket list events and help get them to that point. So that means a lot to me. Thank you.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So, missed the riders meeting.
I missed the riders meeting, but that morning I ate just waiting at the coffee shop, just waiting to start. But it's so funny because like my bike looks completely different than they're all packed out.
Yeah.
So the XL people can tell who the XL people are.
Right.
We all talk to each other and stuff.
Yeah.
This one guy, he told me, he was like, I was here last year, and be careful waiting for people.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that makes sense. And he also said, don't stop too long at at the gas stations.
Yeah.
And So it was interesting. At the end of the race, I had been riding with somebody for a few hours, and I looked him up later, and he had, I might be off by a little bit, but I think it was between an hour and a half or 2 hours less riding, or he stopped more than me. He stopped
Yeah.
for an hour and a half or 2 hours more than me.
Yeah.
Right. So I was going slower and stopping less. And
Yeah.
stopping, with
Steady
less.
wins the race.
Yeah. Like slow and steady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned that lesson at ORAM. The first year I went, it took me 10 hours, and it was just because I spent 15, 20 minutes at each checkpoint, stop point, fueling, relaxing and everything. And the next year I was like, man, I got to quit hanging out at the checkpoints.
Yeah.
And I finished right at 8 hours. And arguably I was in better shape, but it was a conscious effort not to spend a lot of time at transitions and stuff. So I totally get that. But the other thing is waiting for people, because you get accustomed to riding their pace and everything. And then all of a sudden they're like, well, I got to fix my shoe or something. You're like, the best thing to say is, you'll catch me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I
just keep motoring.
That's actually what I told people every time I rode with them. We talk a lot because what else
else
are you
you
going to
gonna
do for
Yeah.
27 hours? But I would tell people, I was like, listen, we're riding together for now. If I have an issue, you're going to keep going. And
Yeah.
if you have an issue, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
So I actually didn't wait on anybody.
Yeah. So headphones, no headphones.
I brought two after Shocks headphones. I think they changed their name to Shocks from Aftershocks.
Yeah.
But the MP3 version, not the Bluetooth, because I didn't want to deal with connection issues.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
You're an Apple guy, aren't you?
Yeah.
Cuck. Speaking of electronics, though, you also had some other electrical issues, right?
Yeah. So
I wanted to hear more about this.
I brought
You kind of glossed over it in the video, but
3 derailleur batteries, counting the one on my bike, and usually they last a long time. I don't even think I've needed to change the derailleur battery in a race, and I was very good about charging it right before the race.
the one that was on your bike.
Yeah.
You made sure you
And
charged
it died. I might be off by this too, but it died within like 10 hours or something. And I was like doing the math, and I'm like, oh no, I don't have enough. And it was because of all the shifting, because there you're just going up and down, and I was just constantly shifting.
Yeah.
So I put the next one on, and I was like, this is going to last me 10 hours. That's not enough time. It's going to die. But I had a backup one in the bike that I found out later, a few hours later. I was like, I think I have it. So I went and checked, and I had it. So then I was like, okay, back to shifting.
Yeah.
Back to good shifting. Yeah.
It's amazing how all those calculations start to take a tax on your brain. Like, okay, I've got X number of miles to the next stop. I can only shift so much. This battery's going to last me 10 hours. I need to eat in 5 more minutes. I haven't drank in 10 minutes. I mean, all those things start to compound.
Or
on you.
did I drink 10 minutes ago like I planned to? And
That's all I think about. Like,
yeah.
For real.
I know, but people think, well, don't you get bored riding your bike that long? But actually, there's so much else going on
through your head.
It's wild.
Yeah.
So just a quick reset before I lose track of it. I'm sure we covered it in the last episode, but maybe folks haven't listened to that episode. What was your bike?
Oh, it's a Trek Checkpoint, like a 2022 with the front suspension. It's a Fox Stepcaster, 50 millimeter gravel fork.
Yeah.
And I actually saw a lot of those forks there.
Yeah. I did too.
What was your bag setup and gear setup and things like that?
I went through a bunch of different seat bags. I think I settled with the Lesign. I'm probably saying that wrong.
No, you're saying it right. I mean, we're probably saying it wrong collectively.
Yeah, I say Lesigns.
Yeah.
Okay. So I settled with that one. I can't remember what size. It might have been like between 5 and 6 liters.
Yeah. Is that where you're keeping your powder and stuff?
Exactly. And it was just completely full of powder, and then had a little pouch of, like gear, batteries, and tools and all that stuff. And then I had strapped to the bottom, I had a full tire.
Yeah.
Yeah, like vacuum sealed, and didn't use it. Didn't use a tube. Never got a puncture.
Yeah.
It's like,
but if you hadn't have carried any of that shit,
don't complain about it not using it. Complain about needing it, not having it.
Yeah. But actually, I think I've decided not, because I have a bunch more long gravel races coming up, and I think I decided not to bring the tire.
Yeah.
It felt super heavy.
A tire.
I'm going to go with that.
A full tire's overkill.
Yeah. But but I heard so many crazy things about this race.
You pack for your fears.
Yeah.
Well, but so many people talk about how razor sharp the Flint Hills rocks are, and
Some people just can't ride a bike too. That's the bottom line.
And
Some people pick shitty lines.
And the reality is, a lot of those, I'm not going to call them myths, but a lot of those old wives' tales about the Flint Hills are from 2008 and 2009, when everybody was on thin-walled 32s and 38s, and
I think I did it on 38s when I did it. Yeah. But so what tires did you run? Back to equipment, touching the
Pathfinder S-Works. They're like the Pathfinder Pro, but the S-Works.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not a very robust tire. What's the width? 2.1, 2.2?
42 millimeters.
Oh, 42.
I haven't subscribed to this large thing. My theory is like 40 millimeter tires, 42s, and then with suspension, I'm riding happy.
But the thing is, with the bigger tire, especially with the smaller contact patch, larger tire, is you have a little bit more float in the technical areas. So if you think about like a pebble surface, and you expand it and you put gaps bigger in, you have more reach over those, and you can stay above instead of getting down in.
But what about with suspension? Wouldn't that kind of mitigate that?
Well, the suspension's irrelevant in that conversation. It's just how big the footprint is and how much spread you have over rough areas. You can float on top instead of be down in.
The suspension affects what's above the hub, not what's below the hub.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, just, my thoughts.
I might switch the clips before I go bigger, though. Just kidding.
So what you're saying is neither of these things will happen.
It ain't happening.
I was thinking about going to 35s or whatever, and then I was like, okay, I'll just stick with what I have.
Introducing our guest today, the unconventional Justin.
Have we mentioned that he's unconventional?
This is officially now episode 69, because I haven't gotten my shit together and reworked the bad audio version yet. Sorry
for the bad audio.
It's not your fault.
So you had powder all in your tail bag, and then did you have were you running a tangle or a half frame or?
Yeah, half frame bag, and I have, I think it's like, it's 70 liters of, 70 ounces of water.
So you were drinking from a
bladder.
A bladder, and then what was that? Just straight water, and then you were drinking your gel mixture.
Yeah,
and then you have a fuel tank as well, bag.
So I use bottles for fuel.
For calories?
For calories, so I can adjust what I need on the fly. If I need more water, I can drink straight water. But also, like, nothing on my back. I couldn't. Yeah. I did not want something in my back for that long.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
But what did you? So you had 3 bottles. So you had a half frame bag. So where are you carrying 3 bottles?
One I keep on the top tube.
Okay.
Even on the XC bike, so I can drink quickly and drop it back on.
Oh, okay. Right. You're a Fidlock zealot, right?
Yeah, and I don't know why.
No, that's fine.
No, I mean, if it works, it works.
Yeah. So
that's why you're running 18-ounce bottles, because they're Fidlock, right?
Yeah, they have a little bigger ones, but I don't. I use them for some setups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had 3 bottles, and then you had your 70-ounce bladder, and then what kind of solid food did you pack?
Oh, no solid food.
350 miles.
No solid food. I had one donut because I went to the wrong rest stop. It was supposed to be a gas station, and we went to a donut shop, and I really just needed water. But I went in there, I'm all muddy. Yeah, I felt so bad. I was like, okay, I'll get a donut, just because.
So that was the only solid food you ate for 350 miles.
Yeah, and it worked. I didn't regret it. My stomach was perfect.
Yeah.
It was actually really weird because I do short races, and things always go wrong. Things go wrong with, like, training rides, but for some reason, absolutely nothing went wrong in 350 miles. It made no sense to me.
Except for the derailleur thing.
But technically it didn't. I just thought it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so impressive. So did
aero bars or no aero bars?
Aero bars, yes. Yeah. You got to have aero bars. I was riding with somebody, and she was like, I wish I had your aero bars. I was like,
yeah. I watched a very quick video the other day. It was a reel or whatever, and it was just a comparison. This guy was doing 300 watts aero bars, 300 watts no aero bars, and it was in kilometers, so take it for what it is, but he was doing like 4 kilometers an hour faster, same wattage, aero bars.
It's so much more comfortable.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's just more positions too.
Yeah,
is a
exactly.
big thing, especially over a race that takes place that much time. It's better to have more positions.
my hands will go numb. If that's the main reason why I got aero bars, is because I could only ride maybe 50 miles and my hands would start going numb. But with the aero bars, nothing. That's perfect.
Do you have a rotation schedule, or do you just shift positions as it
Just
seems?
feel, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's kind of like when you're driving in your car and you've driven a couple 100 miles and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
need to shift a little bit.
Yeah.
Same thing. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no heart rate either. No data. I think the last time I came on the podcast, it was right when I was transitioning away from data, and I'm still loving it.
Yeah.
I don't even have my watts on. I don't think. I think I
So
turned it off.
no heart rate, no power meter.
It has a power meter, but I think
but
I didn't. I
you
didn't
weren't
have it pulled up.
you
Yeah, I
weren't
wasn't
utilizing
looking at
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're looking at what's your display showing you? Distance,
Yeah.
average speed.
No, not even that one because I didn't want to get that in my head either.
Yeah.
So I didn't need time, distance, because I needed that stuff for like fueling and stuff. Yeah. Normally I don't even like to look at distance, but I needed it because I had to pace myself.
Yeah.
So how were you pacing yourself if you didn't have power or heart rate? What were you using as your benchmark to pace off of?
Just push as hard as I could.
Was there a point in the race where you thought, man, I need to slow back a little bit. I'm not going to be able to maintain this.
Yeah, after the first
10 miles.
Yeah. So, okay.
This is kind of your signature move.
Okay, hold on. I was very close to the front in the beginning, and we were going so slow. Like for the first 5 miles, it was actually going extremely slow. And I was next to somebody, and we were chatting just a little bit, and he's like, "Hey, we should just go to the front and leave everybody." And I was like, "You are tempting me. Like I want to do that."
You don't even know who you're messing with right now.
So even I almost wanted to do it for the video. I was like, I'm just gonna leave everybody and get in first place at Unbound XL.
Yeah.
I didn't do it though, so I'm like, I'm proud of myself.
Yeah.
I backed off and slowed down.
But then the pace picked up,
It
right?
did. After about 5 miles between, yeah, it picked up like crazy. So I was like, no, I'm good. You guys go.
Yeah.
And then I caught everybody later.
Yeah.
I was catching everybody at gas stations.
Yeah, that's the way it works. I mean, these guys will just blow themselves up, and then they realize, oh, I need to settle in. But they've already burned so many matches. That's the thing is, if you can just stay in your own head, and just ride your own ride, you're going to be a lot better.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I didn't even draft that much because my riding style is so different than most people, where heavier riders are slower going up, faster going down. So anytime I try and ride or draft with somebody, I'm like, we're not going together.
Yeah.
So when I rode with people, it was mainly side by side, just talking.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hanging out.
So what was the hardest part about completing 350 miles, other than not getting any sleep and the battery issue?
So I feel like in every ride you do, there's always going to be like a dark moment.
Sure.
And so I missed 2 water stops. It may even been 3. And I had to go like between 100 and 120 miles without a refill.
Wow.
And I got low on everything. So at the end of that, I did have like maybe a 10 mile, 15 mile spot where it was just a little hard. And
You were
then,
catching up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I knew, I was mentally prepared for it. I knew, I'm like, okay, I'm in the dark spot. I'm going to get through it. It's going to get better. And it did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
That's a winning mentality right there. Like, if more people had that thought process on any ride, their ride would be better.
Well, you develop that through going through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like I was thinking about the Hico, Texas. What race is that?
Gravel Loco.
Thank you. Gravel Locos. There was a spot there where I got super dehydrated and I had to go like 20 or 30 miles in the sun. And I still remember that one. That was brutal.
Yeah.
So I was like, I mean, I did that. This is nothing.
Yeah. and that's what a lot of people, like seasoned cyclists, have those things under their belt, and it just makes them mentally tougher.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying. A lot of the roadie type people that come and try to do Unbound, they're not prepared for all of these setbacks and dark places and, spots without water for 20 miles or, whatever it is. They just crumble.
I knew I could do 100 miles without water because during one of Kevin's rides, I went, I think, 105 miles without water. So I was like, I've done it before.
Yeah.
I'm good. It's
Yeah.
no big deal. I wasn't even worried.
There is a distinction between not being worried and getting yourself in trouble. Just to be clear,
there is a line that you can
Yeah.
go over. Now you mentioned dark places, slightly different dark place. We're going back to the bike setup a little bit. What sort of light setup were you using for those dark times?
Yeah, so I'm going blank on the brand, but it's just kind of like a cheap $20 light. But I've tested it for years and years. Like I've been using it for a long time, and I knew it lasted about 3.5 hours. So it also has a replaceable battery. So I brought 2 extra batteries, 2 lights, and then a spare light and battery. So my idea was use the lights, and then once they got low, just pop out the batteries, pop in a new battery. And yeah, it worked fine. I had brought too many lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you brought a backup.
Yeah, backup. Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the last thing you want to do is be in the middle of nowhere without lights.
Yeah.
Having access to contingencies can pay off.
Yeah. Were you running lithium-ion batteries?
Yeah.
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 Okay. So any more stories within the race? Did you feel stronger or weaker at night? And how good was it seeing the sun come up?
So yeah, I mean, the sun was great, but I was a little sad because it was cloudy.
Yeah.
And the sunrise would have been amazing, like with in the hills. And
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah,
How beautiful
I mean,
is that
it was,
country?
Oh, it was so nice.
So gorgeous, and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
That's the weirdest thing.
It felt weird to me because like this was like a bucket list race, so I was like looking at the hills and I was like getting all,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, like, oh, look at the hills.
As
but
you
like,
should.
But like everyone, if someone else saw them, to be like, okay, cool, they're
Yeah.
hills.
But there's something beautiful about it. Same
Yeah.
thing with Terlingua. Like, it's gorgeous, but there's nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that there's nothing, but it's just like in Kansas.
It's
There's
unique.
Yeah, there's no trees, there's no fences hardly. Did you see any wild mustangs?
No, I'm trying to remember. No, there was
No.
a lot of cows,
Yeah,
but we're used to that here.
but it is beautiful country.
I mean, you've made a big deal about pushing through and things like that. Did you ever get to a point where, I mean, it's 27 hours and things are running through your head the whole time? I think we all have those spots, even if it's only for 30 seconds, that, man, maybe I should just stop and pull the plug. Did you ever have any of those moments?
I did not.
Okay, good.
Not even once. I never, for 1 second, thought. The only worry I would have would be if not going fast enough.
To make the cutoff.
No, just not going fast enough in general, because
Okay.
I wanted to do I wanted to finish, but also finish like top 25%.
Yeah.
Like, I was actually trying to
Yeah,
yeah.
make a statement. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. So, what was the cool down like? You finish.
And then I drove home.
You finished and packed up and drove home.
Yes.
Sweet mother of God.
Yeah, my wife got really mad at me.
Yeah.
I didn't make it home. I went like halfway, and I got really
Episode
tired.
69, the unconventional, Justin.
Oh, I was driving, and I got tired, so I pulled over and I pulled up to a hotel and just jumped in the back and slept.
So that's the other question. Did you take in any caffeine on the ride?
Oh yeah, so that's a big deal. So I had, from a quick Google, you can do 600 milligrams of caffeine in 24 hours.
Okay.
And that's what Google says. So.
Yeah, it's got to be
It's
correct.
got to be.
Yeah.
It's got to be accurate.
Okay, so how did you take caffeine?
Gum. So I grabbed 600 milligrams of caffeine and gum, and then what I had heard was use it mostly at night. So I probably did 400 of it at night, and then just at the end probably another 100.
Yeah.
Just so I could finish strong.
And could you tell the difference between before when you were not running caffeine and then when the caffeine came on board?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah.
But caffeine will also dehydrate you too. So did you make any adjustments for that or anything?
No, I just stuck to the plan.
Yeah.
The food and the hydration was all perfect.
You keep saying food, but there's a lack of food.
The calories.
There's a
Calories.
lot of calories.
Yeah.
I finished with too much. I planned for
Calories are not food, though.
they can be.
Yeah, sustenance. But yeah, okay.
I had 32 hours of food.
Yeah. So and then you pack up and you leave. Did you eat something? Did you finish and eat something?
I wanted Chipotle so bad.
Yeah.
There was none. So
Yeah.
I got some pizza at a gas station, and I was like, I'm going to make it to a Chipotle. But
Didn't happen.
Bad pizza, bad porn.
Yeah. Both will work in a bind.
Yeah, I stacked it about that high, and the lady at the counter was like, "What are you doing?" It's like, I'm hungry.
God, get in your car and drive home after that. I probably would have slept.
Well, it was still daytime. I finished between like 6 and 7 ish. It was late out.
AM or PM?
No, PM.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I mean, so you didn't soak in any of the finish line festivities or any of that?
No.
Okay.
I just hung out for a little and then left. You know.
Did you see anyone you knew while you were up there?
Yeah. Yeah, I ran into a few people. One of my friends, Levi, he raced at 200. It was cool seeing him. He's gonna do. I talked him into. This guy's crazy. I talked him into the Central Texas Showdown and the Long Voyage, and also.
How far is that?
The Long Voyage is 300.
Yeah.
Central Texas is 470.
Yeah.
And then that Unbound qualifier. I'm going blank on the name. The Unbound qualifier race in Colorado. Rad. The Rad.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
gonna
we
do the
talked
Rad.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a note on there about my race schedule.
Let me see these fucking notes.
Okay, look on the bottom. My race schedule is ridiculous. I have 7 races and a bike packing trip within 2.5 months. It's kind of crazy. My wife has been a little bit concerned about all the races coming up, but
Yeah. I think we've covered everything on your notes except for this.
The schedule.
Well, here's what sticks out to me. What's your bike packing trip?
I'm going with my dad on a truck travel. So he'll be on an e-bike, and it's like the Shenandoah Valley. So we'll do just 50 miles a day. Yeah. So I'm actually bringing my bike with me. They have my bike there that they provide, but I'm like, I'm not using your bike.
Yeah, it's kind of like showing up to a golf course and using somebody else's club.
Yeah. They're like, really? You're bringing your own bike? Yeah.
You have 2 bike packing trips on here.
That might be a typo.
Oh, okay. Well, one of them's capitalized, so we'll go with that one.
You gave him the sheet.
Yeah.
You saw it. Did I have any choice in the matter at that point?
And Judgment Day, I'm assuming you're doing the long one. Is there going to be a Judgment Day this year?
Yeah, there is. Yeah,
It's scheduled.
Is it all going to be OCNP? Is it going to be 100 miles of OCNP?
So me and Alexi, we won it last year. So
Yeah.
we're going to try and do that again this year.
Very
we were
cool.
the first people to finish.
The 100 miler?
Uh-huh.
You beat Willie?
Alexi beat me by 15 minutes, but we were driving together, so we finished.
But
We
you
got
beat
first this-
Psycho Willie.
Yeah, we beat everybody. We were
Wow.
by hours. By the time we left, there's no one else that had finished yet. There was a guy on a single speed that
That's
beat us,
Willie.
but that's
That's
a different.
Willie.
That was a different category.
Yeah. I was going to say, I thought he was the overall winner.
No, we were the winners for gear.
Very underreported,
Oh.
by the way. There's no
Well, they say it's not a race.
there's
but
no
some
lifetime
people-
coverage of Judgment Day. Ray Porter, 70 miles. What does that mean?
The Ray Porter's a 6-hour race at Irwin, but
Your goal is to do 70 miles.
I think I just estimated it at 70.
Oh, okay. That's why I was curious, because you're going to ride for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't own a single speed, do you?
No.
So it's going to be geared. I'll be at the Ray Porter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cooking.
Oh,
Yeah.
What's
Very
the
nice.
date for Ray Porter this year?
They changed it.
October.
Is it?
It should be.
No, it doesn't say on here. I can't remember now. I'm on the board too. I should know. They moved it to October this year.
Yeah, I
because
know.
last year it was like 113 or something
it's
ridiculous.
Maybe it's. Actually, yeah, I need to know that.
Yeah,
'Cause
you
I-
probably do.
When is it?
I should know it.
They usually do it over Leadville, so I haven't been able to go for a long time, for a few years. But there was a few years ago, me and my friends group, we took the whole podium at Ray Porter, first,
Nice.
second, third, and fourth, all on flats.
All on flats.
Yeah.
Let me see. Saturday, October 5th.
Out.
Yep, Saturday, October 5th.
Okie doke.
What else? What
There's a
else?
Texas gravel champs on there too, a spinach tree race.
Yeah,
That one looks fun.
Where's that?
Lake Whitney.
Lake Whitney. Been there.
I know you have.
Yeah.
We've heard that story several times.
Okay. It's still a good story.
It is a good story.
All right.
And it's appropriate. You know, it's a story about Ben, so it gets repeated. Or featuring Ben, I should say.
I think we covered all of this.
We've hit most of that
Yeah.
in one form or another. So the sandbox worked fairly well, I do believe. Now, you did bring a bike with you today. You said you snuck in 30 minutes of riding?
Just like about 30 minutes, yeah.
Okay. At
Just Frisco.
Frisco.
Yeah, it was on the way.
Understood. And that's going to be part of my next riding every day video is squeeze in the rides when you can, where you can.
Yeah.
So what bike were you riding today? What do we have here? It looks like it might be a Trek.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a Trek Super Caliber Gen 1.
It's a super sexy design, the way they integrated the rear suspension into the top tube. I love that.
Yeah, I feel like
It looks very
Specialized copied them.
hardtailish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like 60 mils of travel, but you can feel it if you lock it out. I could tell the difference.
Yeah.
So travel helps. Yeah.
What's the fork on it?
Just 100 millimeters. But okay, don't judge me. I have two of them. Same bike. And the idea is because in case one goes down, I can keep riding.
Set up exactly the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I bring it up because I'm going to set them up different. I have it in at Bike Mart in Frisco, the Hollyhock one. And those guys are awesome. They're helping me out. We're trying to put a Fox Factory 120 on the front of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I could use, and it already has a dropper, the other one. So my idea is have one with a little more trail-ish for like Big Cedar or Cross Timbers.
Is that what you rode Big Cedar on?
On the other one, yeah, with the dropper. You kind of, having a dropper at Cross Timbers is
Yeah,
important.
you did say Big Cedar. I was tracking you with Cross Timbers, though.
Yeah.
I was with you.
Yeah.
Okay. I had more questions, and they all went out the door. Okay, so what is your plan for Leadville? So when the race starts on Saturday, right?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
So last year I messed it up by doing it in 24 hours. 24 hours before. This year I'm showing up a week early. My dad lives there, so I'm gonna go to his house. In
Your dad lives in Leadville?
He lives in Keystone.
Okay.
So I think that's like 9,000-ish elevation.
fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I bring my gravel bike and just ride for 3 days as much as I can. And I don't. Okay, so here's my idea. I'm gonna acclimate fast by pushing as hard as my body.
Brad
as
is
hard as I can.
rolling his eyes and shaking his head. And I think there might be a tear rolling out of the corner.
You don't have to go hard. Just show up and be there.
He did Unbound XL top 25%.
Fair. Those who can't coach.
I cannot have a coach, by the way. I've actually
No
thought it
shit.
through.
No shit.
It would kind of be a waste of
A
money.
coach would give you your money back and say, "I can't help you."
Yeah, during the expo, a coach was giving away free water bottles, and I was like, oh. So I took a water bottle, and he's like, hey, do you need a coach? And I was like, I don't think it would work. Yeah. So 3 days of acclimating as fast as I can, and then I'll have 3 days of just resting with the family. So the family will fly in 3 days later. I'll go and pick them up at the airport, and then we got an Airbnb.
Yeah.
Okay. And the Airbnb's Keystone as well?
It's
or
actually
that's
Twin Lakes, which is, I didn't plan it like that, but it's perfect because it's right next to an aid station, like across the street.
Okay, so that Twin Lakes by Leadville.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And so you're going to run that bike at Leadville?
I haven't decided yet, either this one or the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going back and forth on it because this one will be lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, even today I was like, maybe I should just stick to the lighter one.
That would be my plan.
Yeah.
Elevation Plus, it's not a super technical.
It's not super technical, and it's the uphills that set your time.
There's what, like 15 miles of single track?
Is it that much?
I know it varies every year, but
I remember from last year, like wishing I had a dropper, but like I managed.
Yeah.
It didn't crash. I got through it, so it's like thinking about it, it's like.
And then you're going to finish Leadville and just drive straight home?
No.
He's going to ride home.
No. My wife and my family are going this year, so shout out to my wife. She's super supportive, and she's been really excited about this one. But because the last one I finished with like 2 minutes to spare, so she wasn't there, but she was getting updates, and she was like looking at it, and she's like, "Oh man, I guess he didn't make it."
Yeah. Too close for comfort.
Yeah.
Did you have any mechanicals last year?
I'm trying to think. I don't think I did. My big problem was nutrition. My plan went out the window. I couldn't find my bags. It's so the aid stations are just so crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
So you're doing drops there then?
Yeah, this year they let us do a drop at Twin Lakes. So I'll like the night before. They didn't let us do that last time or any other year. So I'll just walk out the Airbnb, drop my bag off, and then my wife and my dad are going to be at one of the aid stations, I think around mile 15 or 20-ish.
And you can get outside aid everywhere on that course, right?
You can, and that's what I had to do last year because I was able to grab water once or twice, maybe once in the entire race. Besides that, I was just bumming from everybody.
Oh, wow.
It's like, give me some food, please.
Walk me through the corral process and how that works at Leadville, because I've always heard it's really critical to be in. If you're wanting to get a 9-hour time, you have to be in an appropriate corral to get that. Is that not the case?
In my opinion, no, but like I'm not a good judge because I got like 11 hours and 50 some minutes, so I haven't been close to the 9-hour yet. But in my opinion, no, because like they start in like increments of like 10, 15 minutes or something.
It does start in waves.
In waves, right? So if you want to really be in front, you can just be in front of your wave.
Yeah.
But
unless you encounter a bunch of traffic.
Yeah.
That's my understanding.
How do they assign waves though?
Well, how are the corrals assigned? That's by qualification, right?
Yeah. So all the Leadville qualifier races, I think there's 4 or 5 of them. The faster you do them, is what sets your corral time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was out of shape I do the Austin Rattle every year, and I remember last year I didn't do great, so I got a bad corral. Yeah.
So do you know what corral you're in already?
It's like second to last corral.
Right, currently.
Yeah.
So you've got your work cut out for you indirectly.
Yeah.
But at that point, it's an individual time trial, and there's just trail fodder in your way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was the fodder last year. I jumped out in front of my... I
would have never guessed that.
And then as soon as we got to the climb, I couldn't breathe, and that was the fodder. And I was like walking.
Yeah.
We laugh because we love, John. We laugh because we love.
Hey, I've said it before, but I'm an advocate of getting as high on the ladder as you can early, and it's easier to drop back down a little bit than it is to climb that ladder in a lot of situations, especially when there's a lot of traffic.
So what is your strategy to attain your 9 hours? Just go as hard as you can, as long as you can?
But honestly, it's acclimating. I'm really hoping that the going a week early and acclimating will be the key this year. Because I feel like last year I had the fitness, but I just couldn't breathe. Yeah.
Some people just don't do well at elevation. I mean, that's a hard truth, and a lot of people don't want to hear it. But a lot of that has to do with hydration and acclimation.
Yeah.
I mean, but I can't stop thinking about what Dylan was talking about. Is heat acclimation
approximates
it, and I really think that you'd be doing yourself a big service by heat acclimating as much as you can leading up to it. Especially, we have these 100-degree days coming up next week. Riding even if it's 45 minutes, an hour in the heat,
Can you babysit by any chance? I'm just kidding.
Those kids can't survive for 45 minutes on their own.
No.
Get a freaking Burley trailer.
I've been through all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done the it's not Wahoo. It's there's another trailer, but
Yeah.
yeah, my son's autistic, and I used to bring him on rides, but now he's gotten too big. I had the trailer with the shock and everything.
Yeah.
But it's so much work.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so what I did do is I'm having a pity party about not being able to ride enough, and my wife's been like getting annoyed by it.
Mm-hmm.
So I did finally order a trainer,
Mm-hmm.
like a Wahoo trainer. And I've been through a bunch of different ones, and the reason why I don't stick with it is because, like, for some reason, indoor training has been hurting my knees to like a point where it's so bad that I can't like train anymore.
So dumb question. You're running flat pedals on your indoor trainer,
yeah,
and you're still having knee problems.
yeah.
What bike
are you?
do you use on the indoor trainer?
So the first one I bought was just like a cheap one that you keep the wheel on, and I used like an old bike, just an old mountain bike for it. That one hurt my knees and it was really loud. And then I switched to just like a metal.
Did you still have the knobby tire on it?
No.
Okay. Just making sure.
I did, and it was really loud. And then I got the slick.
Okay.
And then I switched to just like kind of like a gym, like a standard gym, cycling bike type thing.
Like a spin bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also I do it at the gym too, but hurt my knees there, hurt my knees at home.
Spin bikes will tear up your knees because of that flywheel.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, and then I bought a Wahoo roller because I thought I could roll it on and then it clamps down the front wheel.
Yeah.
But what they don't tell you is it puts all the pressure on the front wheel. And after like a quick Google, I jumped on it and I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel right. Like putting so much pressure on it. So I did a quick Google, and some wheel manufacturers even say don't do that. So then I was like, okay, well I returned that. And then I got
Could you not just prop the front wheel up a little bit?
No, because
So you're more back?
It's like being on rollers.
Oh.
it's a roller on the back and then the front wheel's clamped.
But
I don't know that machine.
It uses the front wheel as the support for the whole
stabilizer?
platform.
Yeah.
That's a piss poor design.
Exactly.
I don't think I've ever seen one of those.
Yeah. So then, I returned that, and then I got a standard Wahoo Move. I think it's a new one. So my idea with that is maybe it will mimic, because you pedal hard, and then I think it like moves back and forth.
So what bike are you putting on that?
I haven't really decided yet.
Can I make a suggestion?
Please.
Your other Pro Caliber, the one that you're not riding, put it on your
I was
trainer.
thinking about that. Yeah, that's a good idea for Leadville because I'll be on it.
Yeah.
So I get it on Friday. So
boom. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That would be the best purpose for having two identical bikes.
Yeah.
One on the trainer and one in real life.
And I've spent a lot of time on trainers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not following why. Well, depending on the setup, I guess I'm not following why a bike on a trainer that's properly fit to you would cause. I can't see the trainer causing knee issues.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something else in the mix there. So if you're on a bike that you can go out and ride for 6 hours at a time and it not give you knee pain, I don't see a trainer setup giving you knee pain. But
the only issue I see is when you ride a stationary trainer is a lot of people just stay stationary.
Well, yeah, there is that.
And you just target the same muscle group the whole time. So you have to make a conscious effort to move around a little bit.
So what is your trainer environment? What is the software package that you're using with the trainer? Maybe that's part of the factor.
Yeah. So I don't like Zwift. I've tried it.
We're sorry, McAfee.
Yeah, that podcast, I listened to that. That was what motivated me back to try another trainer. But so I actually just like to either watch something or play Nintendo with my daughter. Just video games, something to just get your mind off of it.
I mean, are you doing training modes or training plans on it or erg mode or anything? Or are you just pedaling?
Just pedaling.
No, and there's no.
Pedaling beats not pedaling.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, and I was it was like, well, maybe you're doing a training program, then it's too high of an intensity or too much wattage or whatever else. That could
chasing rabbits,
whatever. So I'm not saying, you got to use Zwift or you got to use IndyVille. I was just seeing if maybe that was a contributor to the knee pain, because something doesn't sound right there. But I'm gonna lean on whatever bike you were using was doing that.
Yeah, because it was when I did use the bike, it was a really old. It wasn't really a Walmart bike, but it was a 10-year-old mountain bike. It still had the sticker saying "Don't go off road with it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be part of the problem.
It's probably
Yeah. Probably wasn't.
Was it
50,
was it dual suspension?
no.
Okay.
But it had 3 front chain rings. It was that old.
triple
Yeah, I think it was 3.
throwback. So I have a question going back to Unbound. Did you wear a chamois or no chamois?
Chamois, yes.
Okay.
I got rid of my grandpa seat.
Heck.
Whoa! Wait a minute.
And
I love it. So I've been. The reason why I had that seat was because I couldn't find a comfortable seat.
Mm-hmm.
So I went through
saddle.
Yeah, saddle.
So I went through probably 3 or 4 different saddles, and I found one that it's amazing. It sucks because it's so expensive, but it's that 3D printed specialized one.
Yeah, the Pro.
Yeah. It's
That's
like
something else.
Pro Mirror.
Pro Mirror. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Because you'll have a lot better movement and everything.
And it's much lighter.
Did you have the grandpa seat on the trainer?
No.
Okay.
I tried different seats on that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's crank length, or it's got to be just position. Period.
Yeah, it could be. It could be body position, but then like the gym bikes, those always hurt my knees.
That's
too.
the flywheel.
Yeah, you told me that.
I guarantee you. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
And you're spinning too fast with that flywheel, and you try to slow down, and that weight of the flywheel keeps.
Yeah.
Pulling
That's
your knees.
I've got an old Schwinn, whatever it's called, that I bought from Mike Bond 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
And it's got a solid flywheel on it, and it's fixed gear.
Yep.
And I run clipless on it. I haven't been on that thing in a year probably, but I also bought a smart trainer that's still just sitting. I haven't even.
Well,
Step 1. I've completed step 1.
If you can ride outside, though,
yeah.
I would love riding outside.
I'm gonna water plants after this and go ride my bike. So,
yeah. How long were you planning to ride?
An hour.
Damn it! All right. What's your plans after the show today?
I just go back and watch the kids.
Okay.
Yeah, get some work done. But yeah, not much.
So we got Leadville coming up. You're going for sub 9 hours. And what was there anything? I didn't see the events list. I'm going to look at this.
It's on the bottom, I think, or on the second page.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
So I mean, what's your next real bucket list thing after that?
After Leadville, yeah.
Don't take this the wrong way. I'm including my events in here. I'm not seeing after Leadville a bucket list type thing.
The one that really scares me is the Central Texas Showdown.
Okay.
Because it's going to be so far, like 470 miles.
But it's a big chunk of that's paved, though, right?
They say it is, but then I don't always believe it because the Ride with GPS files are never.
Don't trust Ride with GPS.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't trust it.
No, what I'm saying is the area it's out because they use a lot of our old Llano roads because they use a lot of Llano County. Mm-hmm. All of Llano County's paved now. That's what I'm saying. So it's still fantastic riding. It's still beautiful, and the longer one goes further south, so it's going to pick up more unpaved stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm under the impression that particular route is.
I think it says 50% paved, so maybe
that would be about right.
Yeah.
Would be my guess.
And Unbound was not paved. It was like 2 miles of paved, and every time we hit paved, we were like, a little break.
That's a blessing.
I'm a ride.
No, I know.
I am a ride with GPS zealot, but I'm going to keep busting their balls over their surface data. And
it's got to be impossible to stay on top of, though, because that stuff changes constantly.
Yes and no. I think what the issue is, at least in Texas and some other states, is just whatever data they get from the states to auto-populate that stuff. The Texas data doesn't line up appropriately, and probably it sounds like Kansas doesn't either. But other states, and some states, it's spot on. My request, and I'll repeat this again, Ride with GPS, allow me as a promoter just to designate everything as unknown or just varied surface or just something like that.
Or if they just had a UI where you could, if you got onto a road and it says it's paved and it's gravel, you can just say, nope, it's gravel. You know?
That gets...
I don't understand what the logistics are behind something like that, but if they just had some way to
well, technically...
crowdsource that information.
Technically, there is the Open Streets map that they utilize allows you to go in afterwards and designate this is an unpaved road, and they utilize that data, but then evidently that data gets overwritten when the Open Streets gets their state data again. It's a vicious cycle sort of thing. And Ride with GPS basically said, well, all you got to do is go in there and manually update your own route and your own file. It's like, it doesn't work when it's a quarter mile here and a half mile there, and have to, I have a 300-mile route that I have to update 500 different stretches. Now, I could lean on Peter for that, though, because Peter, when he's riding, he hits the lap counter on his Garmin every time he goes from paved to unpaved. So for his own purposes, he keeps track of that for every...
I've noticed that he is spot on. Like this route was 72% gravel.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude.
I was hoping to see him at Unbound, but I texted him when I got there, and he's like,
he didn't. Did he say why he didn't go?
He had a crash or something, didn't he?
Well,
He got bit by a dog.
He got bit by a dog that
injured,
weekend, but
actually.
that was because he didn't go to Unbound to begin with. So I was just curious why he didn't make it this year.
yeah, I think he said he got an injury.
Gotcha.
There's no way it was an overuse injury.
That
guy makes me feel like a complete mortal.
which he should.
Yeah.
Which he should. Yeah. I mean, going back to the Leadville stuff and Colorado. I mean, he's done all of it. Oh, and that was going to be, if you need a wind down ride after Leadville, I can give you my over the top route, and you can have fun with that.
Yeah, I might do it before Leadville. Because I gotta acclimate as fast as I can.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, if you do poorly at Leadville, don't say that I didn't tell you what you're planning is not the best plan.
But you also said that about me riding to the Texas Twister.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the point. So
I don't want to be right.
Exactly. Hey, let's turn this around. You say, you don't want a coach and you don't think a coach could put up with you. Do you see yourself ever potentially coaching others on your methodology? That
seems equally ludicrous.
I'm just...
Well, I mean,
what if he turned the whole cycling world upside down? It's possible.
I mean, I have friends groups and like mountain biking friends groups and gravel friends groups, and they're probably annoyed by me preaching about my nutrition. I try not to talk about it too much.
Does anybody reach out to Justin and go, hey, I want to do it the way you do it. Show me how to do it.
Yeah, sometimes.
Interesting.
I mean, like nutrition-wise, yeah, sometimes.
No, the whole package.
Oh, no.
Grandpa seats, flat pedals.
No, our one of my...
matching treks.
Our group is called Fast on Flats, though.
Okay.
So a few people are riding flats in it.
Okay.
That's good. Yeah.
I'm okay. Here I'm saying that I am becoming a flats guy. Don't get me wrong. I would still lean towards clipless if it was more appropriate for my own personal needs, but I'm okay with flats. That said, I still have an issue. How the hell do you walk a flats-based bike for anything without tearing up your shins or your calves? How is that accomplished?
What do you mean, like hitting the pedal on your shins?
Yeah. I mean, even just walking around the truck trying to get it up to start the ride or whatever. But I mean, yeah, with my knees and stuff, sometimes I do have to dismount and I do have to hike a bike from time to time. That's my point. There's no way around it, right? Or am I wrong?
I think it just comes with time. I mean, even with clipless pedals, you bang your shins.
You still bang it, but you don't get the teeth digging in when you bang it. So that's my point.
That's part of the fun.
No, it's not. No, it's not. All right, so here's my suggestion to Redshift. You got these cool automatic lights. Let's do automatic retracting pins next, okay?
Well, no, I was gonna say a whole nother angle. There are numerous people that do quick release pedals. Like literally, there's a nub and it quick releases, and they also make folding pedals.
I saw fold up pedals,
That was at Interbike this year, I believe.
and I think I saw it at your.
But I mean,
bike.
how much freaking hike-a-biking are you doing, Kevin?
It doesn't take much, is my point. Even
Yeah.
if I walk for 10 feet, I'm either gonna bang my calf or bang my shin, one or the other.
Well, maybe that's just how you're holding the bike.
Yeah, let me answer this actually. So I was joking.
Maybe it is.
I didn't get this from a pedal strike. I fell off a cliff at Cross Timbers. For the listeners, I have a bunch of cuts on my shins. So I actually don't get a lot of shin strikes anymore. I think it's just kind of like you figure it out.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And that might be what I'm.
Just
Again,
time and exposure.
I am learning flats.
Yeah.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
Flats are
about it.
amazing.
I'm not going that far. But
James Wilson would agree.
anything else in the sandbox?
There was nothing. No.
Anything you want to bring up, or that we haven't touched on that you were expecting us to, or anything like that, Justin?
What's 2025 look like for Justin?
Well, I guess, that's kind of going to my. There's got to be something big on the horizon, right?
Yeah, so I try and keep a log. I kept on my phone, but it's like a list of all the races available. And in 2025, I really want to go back to Unbound XL.
Mm-hmm. You have an automatic invite next year, right?
I wish.
Is that not how it works?
I don't think so,
So you have to get in every year?
as far as I know.
I thought once you completed it, you have an automatic invite next year. I could be just like...
I've never heard that. I'm not
Yeah.
disagreeing. I've never heard that.
Well,
I made that up.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to the RAD because they're going to give out 50. 50 for age group qualifying, and then 50 for a lottery. So I'm actually hoping to win that lottery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got routes there. Oh, wait a minute. No, they're using them for
Yeah,
the RAD.
I remember hearing you on that podcast. But it's crazy because I'm flying to Denver, driving to the RAD.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
What? Flying to Denver, driving to the RAD, driving back to Denver, and then flying to the Shenandoah, flying to the bike trip.
Gotcha.
So my wife is like, "So I'll see you next month."
I'll see you around Christmas time.
Yeah.
So you have not done RAT, have you?
No, but that's a bucket list.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's. I think once I finish that 470 Central Texas Showdown, I'll be ready for it. So maybe next year or the year after that. One of my friend Levi, he's finished the RAT and he wants me to do it. So so next year, if he's doing it, I might do it.
I'm planning on doing it next year. I say that every year, but next year,
Yeah.
unless I have some major setback, whether it be financially or physically, I'm planning on doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2026, I think I want to try the Tour Divide.
Mm-hmm.
If I can keep up building fitness and staying in the game, that's my long term. But I got to knock out some local events too.
Well, you know how you build that fitness, don't you?
The Central Texas Showdown is
Keep
still
rolling.
open, I think. I think there's spots.
I don't want to ride 470 miles.
But that you can do it. You're talking about 1,000 though.
I understand, but I don't know if you've heard the way I want to ride the RAT, and it hasn't changed. My thought process hasn't changed at all. So, 470 is all in one go, and it's not my bag, you know? So, I don't know. Shannon keeps trying to get me to come do, I guess they have the Central Texas Showdown, and then they have the East Texas Showdown.
Yeah, they have a bunch of them. I think they're making more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And which one is Farnsworth the one that runs the Central?
Both.
Oh, he runs both of them. Okay. All right. Yeah, it just doesn't appeal to me at this point. I mean, yeah, I want to go clip off big miles, but I also just don't want to ride 470 miles in one go.
How about the long voyage?
I don't know what the long voyage is.
It's the Garmin. It's in Nebraska. No, I'm going blank.
It's okay. I've got a Googleizer right here. Garmin Long Voyage.
But that one's 300 miles.
Completely self-supported. 30-hour time limit.
Sounds.
Course the field, long voyage through. Gravel Worlds.
That reminds me. That's
It
actually
is Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah.
August 23rd.
So there's Gravel Worlds, and then there's the UCI Gravel Worlds. It's confusing to me.
So Gravel Worlds,
Yeah.
Gravel Worlds, not the UCI Gravel Worlds, is a tongue-in-cheek gravel showdown event that was created by the Pirate Cycling League, and it's kind of like Single Speed Worlds. Happens every year at various places across the world, and it's, except for the people that are in the top 10-ish, it's just an event. It's not. There's no like true accolades given for it. It's a tongue-in-cheek.
It was very much tongue-in-cheek stab at the traditional UCI organized world level events.
Yeah, and then the UCI is the one that gets you a jersey and rainbows on your sleeve and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so that's so the UCI Gravel Worlds is a bucket list for next year for me. So I did the qualifier this year, and I missed the Gravel World Championship, like the last one, by I think it was 2 or 3 places in my age group. So I just needed to be like 30 minutes faster or something next year, if the competition's the same.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think it's in France or something, Nice, France next year.
Oh,
so I'm trying.
Very nice. Nice. That's where the tour's finishing this year. Have you guys been watching the tour at all?
Zero. We talked about it last week, and it hasn't captured my attention because I was too wrapped up in Blades of Glory and Face Off.
Face Off. What a horrible movie.
It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible.
I can't imagine watching that now.
Well,
it was horrible when it came out.
So what had happened was, I think when it first came out, the concept to me was totally horrible. It's like, A, John Travolta, 2, Nick Cage.
Probably one of the worst, best actors of our generation.
And the premise was just absolutely ridiculous to me.
But now they're doing it in Korea.
So I never watched Face Off. Over the years, it's a good thing this show's only about bicycles. Over the years, I've heard so many people that have made positive comments and fond memories of Face Off. But it's just, I'm not going to watch it. But there's a newer Nick Cage movie out, and I can't remember. There's something about being the most fantastic actor in the world, where he's making fun of himself. I don't know if I can't remember.
I remember seeing a clip of it.
It's kind of an interesting movie, but they make more.
The best movie Nicolas Cage has been in was Pig.
Well, I started to watch Pig,
I will
and I
fight somebody over.
I haven't watched it. I'll be watching Pig later this week.
I mean,
no, actually, his best movie is Racing Arizona. Fight Me.
Well, that's true. I wrote that one off. Sorry, I forgot about that one. And I can still watch National Treasure. Because I love that kind of mental masturbation, the puzzling and all that stuff. But he's just such a horrible actor.
Hey, I was on a date night with my wife, and Nicolas Cage was sitting across from us. And we realized it was him.
Where was this?
In Vegas at the Wynn. We realized it was
Were
him.
you leaving?
Leaving Las Vegas.
Oh, no, we realized it was him because he was using his Nicolas Cage voice to yell at a waitress.
He was yelling at a waitress. Even one other reason I'm not a fan of Nicolas Cage.
We knew it was him because it sounded like a movie. It was like I can't do impersonations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is. I mean, I've got to give you another anti-recommendation.
Okay.
The movie Argyle. Have you seen that?
No, it does not appeal to me at all.
It's a fun premise and concept. The acting is awful throughout the movie. But John Cena's in it, so I'm a big John Cena fan.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about him constantly.
He's
Talking about mental masturbation, right?
He's such a lovable guy.
Okay.
Just want to hang out and have a beer with him.
How about Beekeeper? Have you seen that one?
Yes, thought it was good, but I'm a Statham
fan.
Statham fan. The acting also in that movie was awful. Even Statham's acting was awful.
Yes.
But I
thought the action scenes were very good action scenes.
Yeah, but it was no Gray Man. Gray Man had way better action scenes.
Here was my problem with Beekeeper. It's like, wait a minute. He's killing everybody.
Yeah.
These aren't bad guys.
Yeah.
He's killing everybody.
Yeah. But then he oscillated between anti-gun and pro-gun. There was like multiple scenes where he's like just disarming people and beating the shit out of them, and then there's others where he's picking up every gun and shooting everybody. So you're like,
there was a bicycle somewhere in that movie, right? I don't know.
Best bicycle movie ever.
Something I just
Breaking Away.
Breaking Away. I need to go back and watch that. Rad was the one I grew up with.
Breaking Away.
But
Gutters!
But soundtrack, Rad was incredible.
What about you? What's the best bicycle movie ever?
I haven't really watched movies.
Well,
I'm just watching YouTube bike channels.
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
Basically.
What's your favorite YouTube bike channel?
Whatever's on my subscriber list. GMBN, Seth Bikes Hacks.
You watch Pathless Pedaled?
Yeah.
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 So Caleb started this with our last guest, and I want to continue this as a tradition.
Go for it.
Best sandwich ever.
Ever?
What's your
go-to dream sandwich? If you could just snap your fingers and have a sandwich right here,
what would that be?
Talk me through it.
It would just be Chipotle.
Chipotle doesn't make sandwiches. That's a quesadilla.
Okay.
I don't. I used to make sandwiches when I was younger, like in college and stuff. But honestly, like
No, a sub is a sandwich.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever gone to a restaurant and ordered a sandwich, or a Jersey Mike's, or a Subway?
Firehouse is okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Firehouse.
Which is good, but I don't really.
Is Which still around?
I haven't seen them in forever. They're still around?
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't seen a Which in forever.
Or
a Potbellies.
Oh, Potbellies is good.
I've seen Potbellies.
Yeah.
Zoe's. I haven't seen a Zoe's in forever.
I don't think Zoe's exists anymore. So you're not a sandwich guy then?
No, not too much.
Well, when you go to Which, what do you order?
Just the chicken. It's vegetables. I don't know.
You're so exciting, Justin.
You know what? We're going to have you on again after Leadville, and we're going to do it in the kitchen there at the countertop, and Brad's going to make us sandwiches.
I will.
And we're going to find you your favorite sandwich.
Oh man, I've been brainstorming some. I've been watching. You watch a lot of bike videos. I watch a fair amount of bike videos too, but I also watch a bunch of cooking videos. Big surprise!
What a shot!
And I saw this.
What's tickling you right now?
I saw this one the other day. They took this bread and put. Well, they did a caper infused olive oil brush on the bread. Then they did a pistachio spread. Okay. And then they did arugula, mortadella, like huge amounts of just stacked mortadella, and then they broke burrata over it and then put some of the capers from the oil in it and some shaved purple onion. And I was like, I want that sandwich yesterday. But haven't made one yet.
It's hard for me to find time to cook. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
that's not cooking.
It's
prep involved.
Yeah.
Sorry, my neighbor's mowing.
I just pressed the button on the Uber.
Yeah.
To bring the food. Yeah.
Can't hide money.
Yeah.
I also like to know everything that's in my food. That's one of my, I don't know if you'd call it a problem, but I'm very OCD, and I have been for decades. I read labels, and I want the least amount of ingredients in my food.
Yeah.
And I think more and more about all the crap we put in our body is coming into light, especially when it comes to seed oils and just all the nonsense, microplastics and all that crap. I'm I've been out of that game for a long time.
Can I bring up something, a different subject? It's just something I was thinking about. So I feel like this is everybody knows this, but I think it's good to talk about it. You need to surround yourself with good people.
Yeah, for
crazy
sure.
people. I have friends groups, and it's important to have friends groups, with the riding community for what type of riding you're doing. So I have XC friends, gravel friends, and road friends.
Yeah.
And my gravel friends invited me, in a little bit to a ride, and they're like, "Let's do 200 miles."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "Okay, let's do it." But and then something clicked in my mind. I'm like, I'm surrounding myself with these crazy people that are doing 200 miles. Would I have done a ride like that? You know what I mean? If I didn't have those friends, if I had a friend that was just drinking beer, sitting on the couch, maybe doing 10 miles or 5 miles on a Saturday.
Yeah. No, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of cycling, I think surround yourself with people that you want to be like is one of those great life lessons, because if you hang out with people that are doing stuff that you don't enjoy, you're going to start to assimilate. If you hang out with people that are, I hate to say better than you, but that bring you up, you're only going to go up.
Yeah.
And we say it a lot in cycling in different terms, but you say if you want to get stronger, you ride with people that are stronger than you. If you want to ride further, you ride with people that ride further than you. It's always hang out with people that bring you up instead of bring you down, And not to say you have to judge people, but you need to make choices in who you hang out with.
Put yourself in the right situations.
Yeah, birds of a feather. So, yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. My friend group's a shit show, but I love them all. And we go on adventures.
You do like the North Shore rides, right? I know not now, but like before.
Yes, I love North Shore.
Yeah.
North Shore is one of my favorite trails.
Yeah.
But I do want to get up to Cross Timbers and ride Cross Timbers. And I have an opportunity to go ride Mina, not this weekend, but next weekend on an e-bike. And I think I'm going to go do that. My wife is also going to be on a girls' trip down in Fredericksburg. So her and I have been talking about it in passing. I haven't got a full-blown kitchen pass yet, but I think I'm going to go. It's just a Friday through Sunday thing, but there's going to be some Houston boys, and it's going to be a good little group. So
Sounds fun.
I think I'm going to go do that. I've been wanting to cut my teeth on the e-bike thing, and I want to go try it, but I'm also nervous because I don't want to love it.
I don't think you should try it.
No.
It's like you don't want to try heroin. You don't want to try e-bikes.
No, I definitely don't want to try heroin.
And maybe I'm the outlier here. I mean,
You're already on the dark side. Your opinion doesn't really.
I love my e-bike. I do, but I would much rather be on a regular bike.
Yeah.
I really, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. If my physical capability were comparable to what I'm able to do on the e-bike, I would rather be pedaling the bike on an analog bike. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But maybe I could be the outlier here. To me, there's just two totally different activities. They're both enjoyable, but in different ways. And I definitely miss real world bike riding.
Yeah, me. I've resisted as long as I can, I think. I mean, not that I'm going to jump in and get one, but have you seen, speaking of e-bikes and speaking of all things bikes, have you seen the new MGU by Pinion? Are you familiar with Pinion?
I'm familiar with Pinion.
So they have a motor and gearbox all in one unit. I watched a long review of this bike last night.
Okay.
So it runs off of a Gates belt drive. So you have almost no drivetrain issues.
Right.
The gearbox is completely sealed, but what's beautiful about it is the motor and the gearbox are all in the bottom bracket area.
Right.
So you don't have like you have the
You have no fore and aft extra weight or
right.
anything like that.
It's like the roll-off is a great design, but it's like having a boat anchor on the back of your bike.
Yep.
This puts everything center and bottom.
But
But
it's a pinion, so you're limited to pinion capable frames.
well, that's fair. I mean, yeah, it has to be a
Don't
purpose-built
get
frame.
me wrong.
Yeah.
I've been eyeballing pinion for years, and it's like I really like the concept. And now, what you're talking about, I'm just like, man, that would be awesome. But
It's pretty freaking cool. I think the pinion system's brilliant, and I did not know this until I started looking into pinion and doing a little bit more research. But they make multiple drivetrains, not in the e-drive, but they make in their gearboxes. They make, I think it's an 8-speed, a 10-speed, 12-speed, and like an 18-speed.
okay,
But it's just like the roll-off. You can shift it sitting still.
and you can jump big jumps, right?
Well,
And-
What, I don't.
well, like the roll off, you can go from 1 to 10 in one click.
That I don't know. I think it's single index.
Is it? Okay.
I don't think you can just hold it and shift. Maybe you can. I don't
Okay.
know. But that's the other thing. Like with the pinion, the one that I was watching, it had not only to tell you your power and all that, but it also told you what gear you're in, because you don't have a visual reference when you're on a pinion. Whereas this bike, you can look down and go, oh, I'm in the middle of my cassette, or I'm topped out, or whatever. It has a visual reference of exactly
Sure.
what gear you're in.
Sure.
I thought that's pretty cool. But I just didn't know if you were familiar with pinion. I figured you were.
I'm definitely familiar with pinion, and I would love the opportunity to try a pinion bike out.
I just wonder what the drag is like.
Good question.
Yeah. Especially on the e-bike that I was looking at. I don't know if you can see this very well, but they have a tensioner right here behind the chainring, which effectively wraps that Gates belt all the way around the chainring pretty much. And then there's another, it almost looks like a derailleur hanger right here that keeps the belt on at the back.
So that's another tensioner there too.
Well, it's not a tensioner. I think it's just keeps it from throwing out, and it may hold it in as well. But the new belts are slotted anyway.
Do we have any idea what the price point on this thing is?
Oh, not a clue.
Understood.
Not a clue.
Understood.
I imagine it's pretty cheap, but I don't know. At least by Justin's standards.
By Justin's by Justin's wife's standards, very cheap.
It's probably $500-600.
So you guys see the Facebook comments anytime everyone brings up e-bike on Facebook groups. It's every time I see it, I just click on the 150 comments just to read all the hate or the positive. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're living in a transitional period, and I think it'll be funny because 5 years from now, myself included, we'll just feel like it was foolish shaming e-bikes because they're only going to continue to be more and more ubiquitous. And I think it's kind of akin to the AI fear. Everybody wants to be worried about it and everything, but I think in 5 or 6, 10 years, we're all going to be like,
You're wrong.
What were we so scared of?
You're wrong.
I am wrong?
You're wrong. You're definitely wrong.
What if they have AI?
AI's already.
They have AI suspension right now.
We've had this
But
discussion.
what if we have AI e-bikes?
AI's already taken over the world. It's just not letting us know it yet.
I did not realize this until I was talking to Helping Still the other day, that there are, he had a better term for it, but they have moderators in AI engines that basically put up bumpers and won't allow AI to do certain stuff. And they establish guidelines and even thought processes and stuff that are ingrained in AI. I thought AI was just free sweeping of the internet, but he said, he put it a lot more eloquently.
That's what AI wants Justin to think.
Did you hear about the AI suspension?
No, I don't know anything about it.
I'm pretty sure SRAM has it. It's that.
But that's like live suspension, right?
It like learns what you're riding, and then it will open and close your.
Oh, remember the original Epic with the brain shock?
Yeah,
that's basically like that.
But they have, so our buddy Adam is on a Pivot Live 4 or something. I don't know the name of it, but it's got a completely live valve system. So when he's climbing, his suspension it has an, I guess it's not an accelerometer, but it's a inclinometer. So it knows when he's climbing, and it will effectively lock the suspension out, except for like big bumps. And then when the bike turns down, unlocks everything. And if he's going over like chatter, it'll tighten up or loosen. I mean, I can't remember. It's an insane amount of adjustments. It makes like 10,000 adjustments per second or something like that. So I guess that's effectively AI. I mean, it's interpreting everything and making adjustments on the fly without you having to reach down and touch a valve or something.
Yeah.
So makes sense.
Yeah, I just took off these bikes came with like a controller to open and close it. And I just took it all off. I just leave them all open.
Yeah.
Don't bother with it.
Well, that increases decision-making efficiency, at least.
Yeah. So does a single speed, but it's not going to be faster.
You would be a great single speed, right?
You would be an amazing single speeder.
You really would.
That sounds like my next bike. I mean, I got into road riding since I've been on this podcast last time. I was actually joking. I was like, what else is there? I have like I don't have a downhill. I don't have a single speed.
You don't have a fat bike?
No, I do have a fat bike.
Oh, you do have a fat bike. Oh, okay.
I bring it to when we go to like Pensacola or something. I bought a really, really cheap one, like almost like a Walmart brand. But so it's in case it gets stolen or rusty.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I can ride it on the beach and I can just not worry about it. It's fun.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the RockShox Flight Attendant. That's the one. What else? I was going to say something. Pinion.
What was it Eurobike where they were showing that off, or was it just coincidental timing?
Just coincidental timing.
Okay.
The Flight Attendant's been out for about 3
No,
months.
not
or
flight
something.
attendant, the pinion stuff.
I think there was 2 different e-bike motors. I think Pinion may have made their debut at Eurobike.
The DJI one came out at Eurobike.
Yeah, 1,000 watts.
1,000 watts, and it's like...
Yeah. I'm foolish because I'm not in that realm, but I didn't see that coming.
I don't think anybody did.
Yeah,
that was kind of the unveiling of the show, is my understanding. That DJI is in the game like that,
and now that they're in the game, I think that the game is going to change.
I think
time.
I think DJI is a game changer.
They're going to be a disruptor.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, 1,000. Let me see, when is it? It also says fast charging, which is relative.
It's relative, but when I'm a DJI zealot.
Yeah.
So when DJI makes claims, they're not hyperbolic.
Yeah.
Do you think they know what they're doing though? I mean, they know drones and cameras, but I mean, this is a whole different thing.
I understand that, and I don't disagree with the logic. DJI's response is, particularly at the drone level, we know electric motors.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we know battery efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of their shorthand logic. Whether it's valid or not, we'll see. But let's go. Again, I'm a DJI zealot, and their Gen 1 products have always been top notch. And it's like, well, that's a new avenue for them. Well, this worked really fantastic. So.
I still have their drone from like 8 years ago, the DJ Phantom 2 or 1 or something.
Yeah. Like this camera was like the most amazing camera Gen 1 that I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. Could it have been better? Yep. And then the most recent version they came out, I bought it the day it came out. Don't tell my wife.
I guess she doesn't listen.
No, thank God.
I'd be in trouble if she listened just as much as Kevin. But they also brought new features to the e-bike market that either didn't exist or I wasn't aware of. They have shift in place, so it coordinates with your shifter, with your motor. and it'll spin the chain ring so you can shift sitting still. And then, which I don't know how that works, because the rear wheel would have to be shifting.
No, because it all shifts in the gearbox.
No, this is the DJI.
Oh, okay.
What I'm talking about.
Okay, well, yeah, okay.
And then it also has a hill start assist mode. So if you have it, if you stop at the bottom of a hill, you start pedaling, it knows you're on a hill and it assists. And then it's got an intelligent walk assist, which I know walk assist is not new. That was a new thing.
But intelligent walk assist would be useful.
Yeah.
Now we're back into banging shins on flat pedals sort of thing.
Hill start assist. When starting on a slope, the drive unit provides additional torque to counteract gravity, enabling the rider to start easily on uphill terrain. Stationary shifting supports fast shifting of gears even when stationary. It keeps changing. Multi-stage shifting can be achieved without repeated operations. So, sounds pretty smart.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. And I say that I'm not the type where new and shiny in the e-bike world is going to drag me a different direction by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not the guy that's going to be, I got to have that now.
Right.
But DJI getting into the game, I find very interesting, very fascinating.
It is. Well, they're going to disrupt a little bit, but there's also going to be so much trickle down and copy. You know.
Yeah.
I mean
that whatever that bike is, what Amgen or something, I can't. Whatever the full platform of the bike, it looks
Amflow.
Like Amflow. Mm-hmm. It looks like a damn sexy bike.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it really does.
Would ride. Would try.
Yeah, exactly. All right, gents, we're over 2 hours into this thing.
Okay.
And I got to get some pedaling in.
Yeah, same. I'm just ordering one of these bikes real quick. I want to see how much it is.
Don't do it. You're too young.
It won't even let me order it.
It needs an ID.
It's $2,000 in Justin dollars.
Subscribe to our email updates to be the first to know when sales start. Oh, so they haven't even started selling them.
I believe it's a $10,000 bike. I believe.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Bikes don't cost that much.
I understand. Yeah. It's $2,000.
Yeah.
So, back to the tour real quick. Closing note. I watched a quick breakdown of how much money is just in bikes at the Tour de France. Care to take a guess?
$750,000.
You'd be low.
$3 million.
You'd be high. The guy did the breakdown. He said each rider's bike cost around $10K.
Yeah, and I wasn't doing backup bikes.
Each rider has 8 bikes on average. There's 8 riders per team, and he said there's 52 or 62 teams. The total number was like $1.6 million just in bikes.
Yeah.
So, which sounds like a lot, but then you watch F1. So
that's a set of tires.
Yeah.
Well, but to be fair, that $1.6 million in bicycles at the Tour de France.
It's all advertisement.
About to say, how many of those bikes have actually been paid for by those teams?
Probably 0.
Exactly.
But I don't know if they're just straight gifts. They're
not gifts.
They probably have to have some.
It's sponsorship.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a bike out there that's not sponsorship delivered one way or another.
Yeah. But there has to be, like, our Dylan.
Right.
He doesn't get a free bike. Do you
Probably
think?
does.
Yeah, he does.
I bet he does.
You think his bike was free?
Yeah.
You think when he decided to put a loft fork on there, it was free? You think when he decided to put those wheels on there, they were free?
If he contacted the people and told them who he was, they probably would give him.
I think the felt breed was a free bike. It's a sponsored bike.
Yeah.
Now, if Dylan goes unconventional and does, man, you and Dylan in the same room, that would be interesting. Dylan's head would explode.
Oh my God.
I'll try and convince him to wear flats.
He would pull out a graph and show you in the wind tunnel how aero inefficient flat pedals and bulky shoes were, and how am I going to wear shoe covers with those and aero socks?
Well, and just the tire talk about him sticking to 42s. Dylan he would go bonkers just over that. But anyway,
so this guy finished 7th at Unbound, and he was running 2.2s. Just to put it in a little perspective here.
Yeah, I feel like he's setting trends, honestly.
Oh,
like
no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's a disruptor.
He is, in a good way.
Oh yeah,
in a good way. So
I'm a fan of disruption. If you haven't been able to figure that one out,
Justin, as always, pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks for having me.
Fantastic.
We should do this twice a year.
Whenever
you
guys want.
Maybe 3.
Yeah.
Seriously, we're going to need a post Leadville discussion and
100%.
and a sandwich.
Yeah, we can do that. Good luck in Leadville.
Thank you.
I have no doubts that you're going to persevere. I hope you get a big buckle, and I just hope everything goes well for you. So let's ride our bikes.
Yeah, let's go.